We had a rock music in the Netherlands by Braden, Calvin, Ryan, and Brandon. Some history of rock in the Netherlands. Dutch rock started to become popular in the late 1950s with bands like the Blue Diamonds and the Tielman Brothers leading the way. These bands stemmed from the Indo-rock community of the 50s, and in the 60s they began to take a lot of influence from British beat groups. What is Indo-rock and how did it influence Dutch rock? Indo-rock is a genre that originated in the 50s in the Netherlands as well, and is a fusion of Indonesian and Western music. The genre was performed by the Indo community and is known as one of the earliest forms of Euro rock. Influences included Hawaiian music, American country, and American rock and roll. Some of the most popular artists from the Netherlands were bands like Focus, The Gathering, and Within Temptation. Focus is one of the most popular bands to come out of the Netherlands, with hit songs like Hocus Pocus and Sylvia being a few of their most popular. And here's a listen to Hocus Pocus. The Gathering was also another extremely popular Dutch rock band, with its hits being Strange Machines and On Most Surfaces. And here's a listen to Strange Machines. Within Temptation was another big rock band based out of the Netherlands, with songs like The Reckoning and All I Need being some of their most popular. Within Temptation actually had 9 consecutive top 5 albums on the Dutch charts and sold millions worldwide. And here's a listen to All I Need. Don't let it close. What are some experimental parts of Dutch rock? Focus's iconic track, Hocus Pocus, showcases one of the most unique features in this style of rock, being yodeling. Dish Van Leer, the band's frontman, incorporates this traditional Alpine singing style into an otherwise high-energy rock instrumental. This experimental spirit reflects Netherlands' culture and their openness and willingness to embrace diverse influences, and it sets them apart as a creative and innovative force in the rock scene. Experimental parts continued. Dutch rock not only included yodeling, but there is some use of accordions and flutes in songs as well. Within Temptation set themselves apart with symphonic elements in songs like The Reckoning as well, and they often use choir vocals in the background in songs like Angels.
Thank you, Braden. Now I'll be talking about the characteristics of Netherlands rock music. To start off, Dutch rock music is characterized by a diverse range of styles, from hard rock and metal to pop rock and psychedelic rock. To start off with some examples is the strong guitar-driven sound in these songs. Dutch rock often features powerful guitar riffs and solos. Second are the influences from international rock. Bands like Golden Earring and Focus were heavily influenced by British and American rock music. Third is the lyrical themes. Dutch rock lyrics often explore themes of social commentary, personal experiences, and love. Fourth is the language. While some bands sing in English, many use their native language as Dutch. Lastly is the unique blend of genres. Dutch rock often incorporates elements of other genres, such as folk, blues, and jazz. Now we will be looking at some examples of artists and their songs. First is Kane and their song of Neverland and This Is My Life. Next is the Nits, and a song by them is In the Dutch Mountains, which we'll be listening to. The next band we'll be listening to is Golden Earring, and we will be listening to Twilight Zone and Radar Love. Before we listen to In the Dutch Mountains by the Nits, I'd like to touch with you guys on what you will hear in the song so that you can actively listen. What I'd like to talk about is the musical characteristic that is used in unconventional song structures and time signatures. The band The Nits often experimented with asymmetrical rhythms and unexpected changes in tempo, creating a sense of unpredictability in the music and dynamism. This is evident in the songs shifting in rhythms and the way that they seamlessly and smoothly transition between different sections. So now we will listen.
I was born in a valley of bricks, where the river runs high above the pumps. I was waiting for the cars coming home late at night from the Dutch mountains. I was standing in a valley of rock, right to the valley that I left for. I was looking for a road to a green painted house in the Dutch mountains. In the Dutch mountains. Then a wall in a valley of stone. She was painting roses on the walls, and on the ground, and it's flown away like a trail leading me back to the Dutch mountains. To the Dutch mountains.
As you can see, there are many different changes in tempos and very smooth transitions with that song. Next, we will be listening to a song by Golden Earring. As you can see from that song, that is exactly what we talked about earlier, where in this Netherlands rock, they like to tell a story with the music, and this whole song goes through an entire story, which I really thought was interesting about this. The next song that we're going to play is Radar Love by Golden Earring. This was personally my favorite because of the upbeat tempo and the overall just structure and lyrics of the song. I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel. There's a voice in my head that drives my heel. It's my baby calling, so I need you here. And it's 4:30 and I'm shifting gear. Oh, when she is lonely, how long it gets to much. She said we came on coming in from above. Radio's playing some forgotten song. Brand coming on strong. The road has got me hypnotized. I'm spinning to a new sunrise. When I get lonely and I'm sure I'm getting enough, she says a comfort coming. As you can see, wow, it's one of my favorites. It's a great song, very upbeat, and great lyrics. Next, I'll be like to go into some of the background of the two bands that we just listened to. First, I'll start with the Nits. Their origin is Amsterdam, Netherlands. The genre that they were most known for was pop rock, pop, progressive rock, and the new wave, which we learned about earlier in this semester. The years active are 1974 to present day, although present day, they aren't very active, but definitely still listened to around the world. Their core members, Hank Hofstede, Rob Kloot, and Robert Jan Stips. Some notable songs by them are Nasico, In the Dutch Mountains, which we just listened to earlier in this presentation, and JOS Days. Their musical style was melodic, intellectual, and often incorporated a lot of literary, and artistic influences. A unique quality of their music and their band was they were known for their distinctive sound and innovative approach to songwriting and performance. Next, we'll be looking at Golden Era. Their origin, The Hague, Netherlands. The genres that they were the most known for were rock, hard rock, progressive rock, pop rock. And you can see that through the songs that we listened to. Definitely a lot more upbeat and more of an aggressive style of rock, is that I would say. The years active were 1961 and unfortunately 2021, but definitely still listened to around the world. Their core members were George Krumans, Rhinus Gersten, Barry Hay, and Caesar Zadirwick. Some notable songs were the two that we just listened to, Radar Love and Twilight Zone. And then the third is When the Lady Smiles. The musical style that they were the most well known for was melodic rock with powerful guitar riffs and distinctive vocals, as you saw in the videos we watched. And lastly, their unique quality was a long-lasting career with numerous hits and a dedicated fan base, which is still just as dedicated today. And they might have earned a new fan today. Next, I will pass off this presentation to our next speaker.
Thank you, Calvin. Now I'll be talking about what makes it different from the US and UK. The things that make Dutch rock music stand out is its influence they take on from folk music. Like a Hocus Pocus by Focus has elements of yodeling and flute melodies incorporated into their rock music. Bands like Golden Earring were much more experimental as well, setting Dutch rock apart from others. Dutch rock music influenced the youth culture by providing an outlet for rebellion and self-expression during the 60s and 70s. Subcultures like the Provo movement used rock music for activism and creativity. The bands mentioned earlier helped shape the unique identity of Dutch rock. While its impact may not have been as big as the US and UK rock, it still has a noticeable presence in the Euro rock scene. Rock music played a role in various political and social movements in the Netherlands. For example, anti-Vietnam War protests were supported by the rock music scene, with bands often using their music to criticize the war and advocate for peace. The growing political awareness among young Dutch people was that it was often influenced by the messages in the music, which conveyed messages of protest and social justice. Now I'll be passing it on to our next presenter.
Thank you, Ryan. Another social impact would be political and social activism. The rise of rock music also contributed to the broader cultural changes in the Netherlands during the 1960s and 1970s. As the genre developed, it was not just a musical revolution, but a cultural one, influencing fashion, language, and youth identity. The progressive rock scene in the Netherlands was especially influential with bands like Focus and Golden Earring, achieving international success. The music of these bands helped position the Netherlands as a hub of musical innovation in Europe. Another social impact would be integration of Dutch and international culture. Rock music in the Netherlands was part of a larger trend of increasing globalization and cultural exchange. Dutch rock musicians were influenced by global trends, particularly British and American rock bands, but they also began to develop a distinct Dutch sound, contributing to the broader European rock scene. This cultural exchange enriched Dutch musical and social life, contributing to the country's evolving cultural identity. And the last and final social impact is establishment of rock venues and festivals. As rock music became more popular, it led to the development of venues and festivals dedicated to the genre, such as the Pink Pop Festival, one of the oldest and most important rock festivals in Europe, which began in 1970. These events played an important role in shaping the social landscape by fostering communities and gathering diverse groups of people who shared a love for rock music. These are our sources, and thank you for listening.